What's up, everybody? Dallisa Hocking here, Celeste Brooks. We are here to talk about astrology, the news headlines, predictions. Celeste even said she's got a new deck of cards that talks about world predictions, so we're going to dig into that. So welcome, everybody, to today's show. Let us know in the comments, where are you tuning in from today? We'd love to hear from you. And Celeste, introduce yourself for everybody that may have not caught you on an episode previously.
Hi, everyone. I'm Celeste Brooks, an astrologer, coach, and intuitive. My business is Astrology by Celeste, astrologybyceleste.com. And my podcast is the Celestial Insights Podcast to help you navigate the energies of the week. I love talking about mundane topics. And so absolutely love speaking with Dallisa about these topics. I spent over 25 years in corporate and used the moon cycles. I'm a Cancer rising to retire early from my corporate career and become a full-time astrologer, coach, and intuitive. I could go on and on, but I think that's enough. Oh, I'm on the board of OPA, the Organization for Professional Astrology, and I teach at Kepler College. Yes.
So you're not very busy, is what you're saying.
Yes.
You got your hands at everything. I love it.
I'm trying to lighten my schedule, and I'm trying to lighten my schedule so I can have more time for reflection and like being more intentional with what I'm providing and creating. Saturn and Neptune in Aries is coming to my midheaven at 2 Aries. So it's like a real call for me to elevate everything I share and what I do in ways. Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress.
We all are. That's exciting, though. That
I make missteps, but I'm trying.
That's all we can do, really. Yeah, you've got all that hitting your midheaven. I've got Uranus going to Gemini, my rising sign, Uranus and Gemini. So that's coming up soon.
Ooh.
Yeah, lots of change in the air. Yeah, but I get it. I think when we have way too many things going on and we've just overcommitted, I'm sure a lot of people watching this can relate that it's like, are we really that effective or that good when we're just saying yes to everything?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this summer will be a good time for folks just to take some deep breaths and ask themselves, like, now that I'm halfway through the year, what do I want to continue to commit my time to? So I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah. We got a lot of folks.
Some more about this?
What's that?
Can I say some more about what?
Yeah, really, go for it.
Yeah. So as all these planets are near the end of signs, there are things that are ending and coming down. And I found Saturn at 29 Pisces was such a big deal about, are you having any kind of ego death is something I've had as Saturn, because the next sign starts pulling you into it, and Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is one of the planets with the sun that rules our ego, and Saturn is the planet of death, and I feel like ego death is a big story, and just really knowing what you can control and can't control and the difference thereof, and we've got to trust our spiritual tools and that God within, or whatever you want to call your higher power, your angels or your intuition or what have you, that Neptune and Aries, to help us navigate this time of endings, which can feel catastrophic, but there's new beginnings coming, which will be, I'm choosing to be excited about where we're going towards, and I've been feeling kind of excited about Saturn and Aries, but it's, yeah, I think that's a big part. So take good care of yourself is my long-winded message.
No, I love that. And I just was reflecting a minute ago, the Saturn, Aries energy. So, I answer right now in the way my company is run. I look at every email. I answer every email, right? And I was too much in the middle of all of that. And so somebody would buy a class and I'd be like checking my email and making sure they got all the credentials and everything. So I recently had to sit down and have a little conversation with myself, be like, this is not working. It worked at one point when the company was smaller, and that was great. But now what are you going to do? So Saturn and Aries, I think that was part of that like initiation. So ended up purchasing a software that helps take me out of the middle so that I can actually, provide better customer service so that somebody buys a class and ta-da, it's actually there immediately.
Oh my God. So Saturn and Aries, your 11th house, if you're just using whole house.
Yep.
And it's limiting, it's taking you out of the day-to-day details of interacting with your community, and Aries 11th house topic.
Yeah. I think it makes me more efficient.
Yes.
Yeah, which I think is
gives you
always
more
good.
structure, allows you more time. Saturn is the timekeeper. Time to yourself, Aries. Aries is the I am. In order to do what is going to your vision. Neptune is the visionary planet, so that you can widen your impact and help more people. I love it.
Oh, I just got chills on that. No, absolutely. I actually feel much more relaxed since I started doing that and implementing it, because I don't feel like I have to be like anxious all the time looking and checking emails. So I think I'm a better leader for the community that I've built because I'm not so stressed out. So I know there's a reason that we brought this up, because I'm sure there's people watching thinking, gosh, I've been having, anxiousness, or I've been caught in the middle of something and maybe it's not where, I want to belong or put my time anymore. So nothing is ever wasted that Spirit brings through. So
yes, with the South Node in Virgo, like the South Node is a drain, and there is a drain on systems, and some systems that we thought we could depend on, but it also can bring to our attention where there's a lack of systems that North Node in Pisces is causing us confusion, overwhelm, all these things. So that's the axis where the nodes, and it's a collective call to bring more structure to oneself with Saturn and Aries, and help with, be aware. It's so easy to get to overwhelm because the North Node is an amplifier. If you just want to be stressed out and anxious all the time, it's really, really easy. It's work to stay grounded, because it feels like there's a little bit of like quicksand we're walking over right now with the South Node in Virgo, a sign of systems, health, daily routines and rituals, all these kinds of things. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with that.
Now Mercury's in Gemini, so make your move. It's at home. Mercury rules Virgo. To what you bring in now could be really, really helpful. And taking the time, even though you wish, no, I have to do this, that, and the other. I have no time to do a new system. Today is a new moon in Gemini. Really ask yourself the questions about this. Yes. Mm-hmm. The sun was spotlighting Pluto. Listen to your subconscious telling you what you need to be aware of, the shadow that you didn't want to see, but it's there for you to witness.
Interesting. Yeah, we got that juicy new moon energy going on. I want to ask you about South Node in Virgo. You just mentioned that. So that's a collective South Node that we have in Virgo, as you said, can also connect back to health. But because it's a South Node, I think my question is, do you find that more people right now, because it's, probably another 13 months, 14 months that we have South Node in Virgo, if I had to guess off the top of my head.
July 2026, it will move.
Okay. So
the
July.
Nodes move backward. So the South Node will move backward into Leo, the North Node into Aquarius.
Do you think that people are going through more or less health challenges with the South Node in Virgo over this next year?
Oh, absolutely more. The South Node is a drain. So there's a drain on health. The U.S. and it's international in some ways is having a measles epidemic, and like there's talk about a new whatever virus. There's all this stuff. We're not going to talk about the screw word, but you're seeing all these health topics come up to our conscious attention. Another thing, Virgo rules like the workers who do the work. The government fired 200 plus thousand employees from the federal government. There are places where people have been impacted by storms. Saturn at the last degrees of Pisces, hardship from, water, storms, things like that. And FEMA's denying them funds. So this system is gone. And so people need to work with their local communities in order to fix or get what they need and whatnot. Or there's delays about getting the charity, or it's just not there. Like Pisces rules charity. Maybe that's a better way to look at it. And it's not really charity because people pay taxes, but hopefully you understand what I'm saying about the last Saturn of Pisces, this charitable help when you're suffering a hardship from big system. Now, your neighbor may be the one who helps you with letting you stay there, or your friend, or your relative, or what have you.
Yeah, and I've talked about Uranus, and we may have even discussed this at some point, Celeste, but Uranus going into Gemini, and Uranus being like sudden, unexpected change, and Gemini being the local community.
Mm-hmm.
There may be things that happen on the world stage or in the country that you're in that will require you to maybe rely on your local neighbors more than maybe what you did previously.
Absolutely. Like these power outage, when the moon met Uranus in Taurus, and Taurus is an earth sign, and Taurus rules resources, values, and money. This was the day after the Taurus new moon. And when a planet meets another planet, their energy is fused. The moon rules the people in mundane astrology. Uranus, sudden upheaval and sudden breaks. In Spain, Portugal, and parts of France, boom, the power went out in the middle of the day. People were just stranded. It was like, but in true Spanish fashion, they were like sitting out on the steps, singing, socializing. People made the best of it, at least some I saw, not the ones stuck in an elevator potentially. This is why I tell people, do not leave the house without going to the bathroom or your location. If you have an inkling, you need to go. Keep your phones and your computer stuff charged. I try to keep my boo keep stuff charged. He's a Sagittarius. He's like, lady, I'm just living the flow and the flow of life. I'm like, okay, whatever. Well, my phone's going to be charged. He'll be happy it is once. He's got 2%. I can't get in touch with me or anybody. But anyway, I'm on a tangent. But
yeah. We have honey badgers asking what's going on today because people are really aggressive on the roads. Is there anything that is heightening aggression or anything Mars is doing, or what do you see?
It's Mercury. Mercury is in the sign of Gemini. It went in on Sunday, and the first thing it did was sextile Saturn. And so Saturn limits and can bring consequences. So if you put your pedal to the metal, and start honking, and Gemini is a mutable air sign. It pushes the energy out. And today, the moon's in Gemini, so people are communicative. And it's let's see what else is happening today. Today, the word of the day is expose. And Mercury is trine Pluto. So subconscious stuff, like people may be mad at society in general because their travel is slow, and honk honk, beep beep, fingers flying, all of that sort of stuff. Pluto can be like kind of rude and offensive on the shadow side.
Rude and offensive. Okay, well, that's the answer that we were
I
looking
tell you to go to hell. That is
What's going
literally
on?
Mercury trine Pluto. Go straight to hell is Mercury trine Pluto. Because Pluto rules hell.
Yeah,
Mercury
that
drives
is a
straight to
literal
hell. Gemini rules Mercury and Gemini
So if
cars.
we tell someone to go to hell, so we tell someone to go to hell, we're actually living astrology, everyone. So,
oh, Mary is saying,
okay,
hey,
let's see here.
Mary. Mary's saying it took 12 hours to get home from Norwalk, the astrology conference we were just at, rather than the 2. My plane was delayed an hour too. Yeah, but thank goodness it wasn't 12. I'm glad you made it home, Mary.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. The go to hell sentiment is in Suzanne's house.
Oh, and Trina's family has been stricken with illness and injuries. South Node in Virgo. What do you have in Virgo? Yeah.
Oh,
And had
mercy.
anaphylactic shock. Wow. Okay, so yesterday the moon met Uranus. People experienced a sudden upheaval. For Trina, it was anaphylactic shock. Like Taurus is an earth sign. Earth is the material, physical world. Earth signs rule health and wealth. And we saw there was that horrible accident. Well, it wasn't an accident. Somebody in England got in a car and used it as a weapon against soccer fans. So
yeah, we've got that in our headlines that we'll
that's
bring up
Moon
here.
Uranus.
Oh, geez.
And Mercury in Gemini, pedal to the metal, and using a car. Mercury entered the sign sextile Saturn as a death machine. So if you see, do not assume somebody's going to stop or slow down if you are at a traffic intersection. Defensive driving. That's Mercury in air. Mercury in Gemini sextile. It's separating now, but Saturn in Aries. Saturn is like you're controlling the situation for Aries yourself, Mercury and Gemini while you're driving. Because you're going to just assume the other person is drunk or whatever, or not paying attention, because the next thing Mercury did was sextile Neptune and Aries. Just assume they're not paying attention. And then Mercury went trine Pluto. Do you want your car to be total? That would be Mercury trine Pluto. No, you do not. So you're defensive driving and assuming they're not going to stop. That's what I'm doing.
So Bree's is asking, could this explain a road rage incident I witnessed the other day?
Oh, you saw a road rage?
Absolutely.
Yeah. People are cracking under the pressure of all of this overwhelm. People don't know, like their jobs going away, like these tariffs are making it so, like small businesses, it's so hard to know what to order because you don't know what it's going to cost if it comes in from overseas. And it could change at any moment. Boop, boop. Friday, there was 50% tariffs coming. Then they're not coming. This is overwhelming people's nervous systems. So, yeah, South Node in Virgo can be anxious. And yeah, you're trying to make things perfect. You're trying to figure out how to control a situation. You can't control it because there are forces outside of your control. Pluto rules transformation. Aquarius is the collective. There are forces outside of your control that are changing things. And right now, Saturn and Neptune in Aries are in a sextile, opportunistic sextile with Pluto and Aquarius. So it's like the personal ability to control things are limited by Pluto and Aquarius collective changes. And the more you can accept and surrender Neptune and the hangman archetype, because Neptune corresponds with the hangman in the tarot, and Saturn corresponds with the world. The world is changing. Some things we have to surrender. And do you want to be somebody whose head's exploding from road rage and all this stuff? No, you do not. But understand, other people may not be spiritually attuned and just losing it with the North Node in Pisces. More and more people are using substances. Pisces rules drugs, or distracted Pisces, or like we're doing, being spiritually attuned and increasing our spiritual practices and trusting our higher power, or whatever we call our spiritual practice, to help us through this sacred time. Monty Farber is a great astrologer, called these times sacred times.
Because of how much change and evolution we go through?
Mm-hmm. The collective is evolving in ways that are beyond our control. We need to understand what we can control and what we can't. Especially in July, Uranus goes into Gemini. So there's all this upheaval of daily life, or innovations. In Gemini rules the local community. So I really feel like that's what you were talking about earlier. The Uranus and Gemini people awakening to the fact, Uranus awakens us, that we need to, if you don't know your neighbors, meet them. What if something happens and you're locked out of the house, or this or that or the other thing? Can you meet your local community? If there's something social, and even if you're uncomfortable, maybe consider going, just so you can meet some people nearby. A headache since Sunday. Aries rules the head. Saturn moved into Aries on Saturday. I'm so congested. It takes a couple of days to get used to a new energy. I hope that something can help alleviate. Did you take something to help alleviate Neptune, your headache, Saturn and Aries? Like you feel like
there was
pressure,
somebody that
Saturn rules
commented.
pressure on your head. My
Oh, interesting.
Aries rules the head. Like my sinuses are all clogged a little bit. Oh, I didn't see that comment.
So yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, Jackie was showing, I heard it referred to as the age of forgetting as ending, and the age of remembering we are entering.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a great comment. Yeah, there was somebody that commented a while back, I can't find it, but they were asking if June is any better. So is there anything that you see in the month of June that you are thinking about, Celeste?
Well, I do like, now this is with a caveat. Venus is going into the sign of Taurus on June 5th. That's where Venus is at home. So people may feel less hyperreactive. Aries can be impulsive. Venus has been in Aries for too long. But in Taurus, people can feel more grounded, at peace, like in touch with their physical senses. But it moves into the sign of Taurus, and the first aspect it's going to make is a square to Pluto, I believe, or it's one of the first. I think it's the first, and that's some intensity. And what I think is going to happen, people go into the grocery store and they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this loaf of bread is however dollars more expensive than it used to be." Prices increase. Mercury's going to meet Jupiter in Gemini. That's Mercury rules commerce. Jupiter expands things, and I feel like Mercury is the numbers on the price, and Venus is the value. Like Mercury, Venus. This is has to do with our daily life and finances, on like just on a mundane level. And then Mercury square Pluto. The pressure from these forces outside of your control have made prices increase. Yeah. Or there's something you want. Oh, where's my favorite? Your favorite product is now canceled. Pluto, like death, because it's too expensive. So maybe if you like Malomars from Switzerland, it's like, oh, well, you're going to have to eat a Reese's peanut butter cup instead.
Oh gosh. Oh,
But maybe it's a
sounds
good
like a
thing.
good time.
It's a good thing. You really consider subconsciously, it brings to your conscious attention, do I really value this thing I'm about to buy? Is it really worth it for me to spend all this money to get my nails done every week or whatever it is you're doing? Maybe you need some Lee press on nails and call it a day. They have really made some advancements on these stick-on nails.
That's good to know. You heard it here first, everybody. Oh yeah,
Yes,
Autumn's back in the chat. It
watch
says,
your
I heard.
spending. Yes. I'm thinking of going on a cruise. That's going to be my, and I'm like, going to have to weigh what the price is and whether I want to spend the money.
Yeah, I've just kind of been in the period, the era of my life where I'm like, because I've worked so hard for so long that I feel like I deserve a little bit of a break. So
You
I have a
do.
couple trips planned this year, but I haven't been a spender for a lot of it. So I think if anything, I'm thinking about like, what do I want to spend my money on, but being thoughtful about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I want to let's pull up the headlines because I'm thinking where we go with this is we talk about the headlines because we've got several, and then we pull out your prediction cards and see what is happening in the cards after we go through the headlines. And if you're new to the show, the bauble and the jar in the middle is if you comment on the live stream, you get a bauble in the jar, and I'll pull a winner at the end for a personalized 12-month tarot report in case anyone's new to the show. Okay, so let's pull up these headlines. Okay, so there has been some news reports over the last 24 hours or so about how Putin is just going for it in Ukraine, and apparently the U.S. is growing more concerned about being pulled into a war with Russia. I know Saturn going into Aries is probably a part of this, but what do you pick up with this?
Yeah, this is Saturn in Aries. So Saturn is boundaries and restriction, and Aries rules conflict. Saturn reinforces. Saturn rules structures. So the U.S. reinforcing the northern front is like saying it's a stop sign to Putin, saying, "Hey, hey, hey, hold up." Yes, and he was almost something he was traveling in came under fire yesterday or the day before. And the podcast episode is The Parallax View. It's a movie, and they always show the themes show up somehow, but a political assassination is not necessarily going to happen. But this, I think, the theme, like he could have been, is, but he got lucky. Yeah.
It was coming in this morning.
He's got Venus in his first house. He gets some lucky breaks all the time. Mm-hmm. Even though it's in Scorpio.
Lucky breaks. Oh, Venus in the first house in Scorpio. I wouldn't have guessed that.
He's a coveter. He's a coveter. He covers land. He's a coveter. He covets and wants to take things. Wants to take land from people, their assets. Taurus and Scorpio are the axis of resources, pleasure, and power. He loves power. Loves. And he likes to intimidate people. Like there was years ago, what's her name? Angela Merkel was in a meeting with him, and he knew she was terrified of dogs. So he brought out these like Dobermans or whatever, some really fierce dogs to intimidate her. Yeah, he's a piece of work.
Not good. Yeah. Gosh, that's mean.
He's mean. He loves being mean.
Interesting.
Funny,
yeah.
that's my personality.
I had a download this morning, and this is nothing new, and some people have already talked about this, but that there are several versions of him. Like they have people in masks and costume that represent that they're him, but they're not, they're plants. So I hadn't heard that his vehicle had gone under attack yesterday, but it doesn't surprise me, being that I was feeling like, oh, there's multiple versions of him. So, yeah, I think they've got some decoys in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Saturn and Neptune in Aries. I feel like Saturn and Aries can limit and control your personal freedom. This could be, and it's already, we're seeing it already, like the draft in certain places where people have to take up arms in order to, for Neptunian ideals to protect their. Jupiter is going into Cancer. Cancer is nationalistic. It's Cancer rules the home. Jupiter is the biggest planet out there, and it's thought to protect the Earth from space junk. So Jupiter is protective. And so it goes into the sign of Cancer where it's exalted and lifted up. And then the first thing it does is square Saturn. It may not be the first thing, but then it squares Saturn on June 14th. So really pay attention. That's an important date. Now we're having a military parade. Jupiter in Cancer square Saturn in Aries. The U.S. is a Sag rising, so Jupiter rules the country or image. And Jupiter and Cancer, a military parade is very Jupiter and Cancer. It's this big show of nationalism. Jupiter expands things. And Saturn and Aries, like war structures are going to, tanks rolling down DC. And the mayor has said something about the streets can't support this. So are they reinforcing the infrastructure to prepare for this, or are we just gonna, is DC just gonna be stuck with a bill? I don't know, in case the was a problem.
Question about the country, the United States being a Sagittarius rising, ruled by Jupiter, and what you just said about Jupiter being the largest planet and it protects Earth from space junk. But if we look at it from the lens of the United States is ruled by Jupiter, does that mean we also protect other countries from their own kind of hypothetical symbolic space junk?
Yes, we have Jupiter in Cancer, so the U.S. will be having a Jupiter return, a return of nationalism. And then we have Venus in Cancer, and they're conjunct, like within 2 degrees. So we protect Jupiter, our allies, if we feel it's in our best interest, Cancer. So yes, we are a protective, the world's not, now we're pulling away, we're doing this isolationist thing, but there's this conflict. Like here we're reinforcing the Northern Front, but we want to be isolationists. We're trying to pull away from other countries or the administration. Saturn and Aries, and Saturn's coming to the IC of the country. It's a home, family, and foundations point that rules our land. And Saturn rejects and excludes. So you see, we're rejecting and excluding all these people who are coming here. Like the big news today, at a new moon in Gemini, which rules students, foreign students, there's some new order from the Trump administration. Foreign students, visas are not going to be accepted again until they can figure out how to study people's social media or how far down the rabbit hole they want to go before saying yes or no to your visa. And I think, yeah, they may like Harvard's. Last week it was Harvard. They were told they had to kick out all the foreign students because they lost their ability to do it. There's this battle with Harvard, the most elite university in the world, and the administration. and Harvard is suing them because, these students like just have to up and leave. But we'll see what happens with that. Mercury's transits and Jupiter and Gemini are what we're looking at. Gemini rules education, Jupiter rules universities, and it's coming to, and foreign affairs, it's coming to the 29th degree of crisis and decay because it changes signs in on June 9th into Cancer. So it goes from detriment. So this also explains why life as an American for some of us has felt like hell on earth. Jupiter has been in detriment for a year, but now it's going to be exalted. And exaltation can be lifted up. At some point, there's talk about giving people $5,000 to have a kid. That's Jupiter in Cancer. Have a kid. Cancer rules motherhood and fertility and family. And here you go. Here's some money to have a kid. It'll be gone in minutes, but at least you got some.
Yeah, a little extra bonus.
The administration wants people to have more kids. So what are you doing to support that?
Yeah.
That's Jupiter and Cancer.
And that's asking about the ETs coming to save us. I didn't include that article in.
I don't know why we think ET is going to save us. ET may come down and tell us, you people are just a goddamn mess. Get it together. We're going to help you.
There was a sphere in Colombia that was discovered that has symbolic writing on it, and they're doing x-rays and stuff of it. So that was on front page top headline of the Drudge Report yesterday, and then the article's like magically gone. So that's in Colombia. So we'll see if we can score some more news about that.
What was it? Our next article. I missed the beginning. What did you say? There was what in Colombia?
Like a sphere, like a silver sphere, and it has symbolism on the outside, and they have like these different, looks like particles on the inside of it. It like fell out of the sky in Colombia. So,
is that from another country, or is it an extraterrestrial?
That's what they're trying to figure out. I mean, it could be part of the psyop. I haven't sat down and looked at it psychically yet, but we'll see. We'll see what I can pull together on that one. Yeah. Oh yeah. So Margaret saying that she saw the article. Yep. Okay. Next article is NPR. I think this hit the news waves this morning. NPR sues Trump over the executive order cutting its federal funding. So what in astrology points to like federal funding for NPR being cut? Would it be something with
Uranus and Taurus? So Mercury met Uranus on Saturday, and that was symbolic of, I don't remember when the announcement was made that they were cutting their funding, but and Mercury communicates, like NPR is on the radio, and it's symbolic of them meeting and there being, Mercury can destabilize and argue, and Uranus has like broadcasting communications are Uranian, and Taurus rules resources. So Mercury rules into Gemini. That's NPR is a Mercury in Gemini. They are on the radio, the news, reporters, all that kind of stuff. And today, Mercury trine Pluto. They're in a power struggle with the Aquarius because it's supposed to be Congress who decides funding, not the president. So this usurping of Uranus and Taurus, this usurping of congressional authority to distribute money, I think NPR, we'll see. Will they win when Mercury at 29 Gemini meets Jupiter at 29 Gemini? Or will they, right before Jupiter goes into Cancer, there's going to be big stories right around then, right around June 8th about this, the students, transportation, childhood education. These are all Gemini topics. Phones, Pluto and Aquarius, Mercury trine Pluto. The students can't get visas, a document of mercurial paperwork, because Pluto and Aquarius. We got to see what the social media, who do they support? Are we going to block them from coming? Yeah.
Lots unfolding this summer. Yeah, lots of headlines. I'm sure it's not going to slow down anytime soon. Let's go to our third one. This is the headline about the increase in pricing at McDonald's. And the headline was talking, or the article, that people who work at McDonald's are even finding it hard to pay for food at McDonald's. And we were talking about this backstage. I think depending on where you live, it's different pricing, and it may be, as Celeste pointed out, tied to what minimum wage is and things like that in the area that you live in. So anyway, McDonald's is kind of expensive now, or it's getting more expensive.
That's
so
Uranus,
would that be this? Yeah, same thing.
Uranus in Taurus. Shock. Like you go to somebody pulled up to McDonald's on Saturday, where Mercury, or Friday, Mercury's about to meet Uranus, and they had shock Uranus about the money McDonald's wanted for this commerce exchange to give you your Big Mac. $20 at McDonald's, get out of here. But Costco, this is the same energy. Costco announced that they're moving their minimum wage up into the 30s and $30 or more in some places. So that's like Costco takes care of people, and they are, as a result, people who are aligned with their values are like, more and more people are shopping at Costco as they leave other places like Target. Because they're using their values. Money talks. This is also Venus and Taurus, like square Pluto and Aquarius. There'll be more talk about people are using their money, their resources to support their values.
Totally. It's interesting you bring up Target and Costco as examples. I was in a Target last week. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. Like it wasn't anything like great. It used to be like the store to go to. But the Costco, I swear, every time I go into a Costco in the last year, it's so many people, and it's like crazy. The energy is amplified in there. So to compare Costco and Target, they feel like night and day anymore. So it's interesting that you brought that up. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay for Costco, Mimosa says.
They can care of their people. And I mean, for years, there's been talk about how Costco is one of the best employers in the nation, because they care about their employees, unlike some other places. I wouldn't say Target doesn't care about their employees. They're not one. But there are some.
I renewed my
Costco. We started on Walmart and how they treat their employees. And how we, the people, have to pay for their health care because they don't make enough money.
Yeah. Is $30 a living wage? I don't know. I think it depends on where you live. Yes. If you worked at a Costco and was making $30 an hour in some of the towns I've been to, you could. So I think it depends on what the cost of living is in your location.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
right. Let's see what we got next on. Yeah. Okay. J-Lo. J-Lo, apparently, I did not see it. I did not look up the video. But J-Lo does some raunchy performance at the American Music Awards. So, Celeste, you pulled up her chart. There was something that you saw in there. Wasn't it about her nodal return or something?
Yeah, she's in her nodal return where she's, and you know, I see this as, this is something, notice when you see people who are considered, and the moon was in Taurus at the time. So people who are elevated, Taurus, the moon is exalted in Taurus. People who are elevated, put on a pedestal. when Saturn went into Aries, there were so many stories about people. There's some Angus guy who's like an influencer whose wife, he's married and brought in some woman 20 years younger and said, and like tried to bring it up as though he's like some like he's spiritually cheating on his wife. Yeah, but seeing with Saturn and Neptune in Aries, we're going to see icons, mythic heroes like J-Lo. Neptune, she's a singer, have Saturnian consequences, people rejecting them because, it's like on your television set, there's this like raunchy thing where this 50-year-old woman is kissing everybody on the stage. Will they get the measles? That would be something. If they next time we see J-Lo, she's got the measles. Oh
my God.
I'm kissing all these people. Or mono.
Yeah. No, good point. Good point about we'll be on the lookout for more headlines. People falling from grace that have once been on a pedestal. There's a lot of comments going on about thrift stores. And I will tell you, after I get done with this live today, I am going back to the thrift store. And I have been like having the best luck at the local thrift store. And I keep finding at a few different locations really old books from like the early 1900s. And I've just been buying all of these really old books. But I think that if you go into your local thrift store, you might find some really cool stuff. So I think that could become, as people are alluding to in the comments as well, I think thrift stores could become more popular, not just because of the money and you know the changes of money, but I also think what you talked about before, Celeste, of where are we putting our money? What are our values? What are we going to support by putting our money there? And so maybe we feel like I'm going to go give it to the gospel mission thrift store and they're going to take that money and do something good with it. So maybe that could become even more popularized.
I love that. Yeah. And someone said, didn't Madonna do that years ago? Yes, she kissed Britney and Christina Aguilera like 20 years ago. So this is a repeat that nobody asked for. Yeah. And yeah, well, nobody asked for this. Yeah.
That's funny. All right, let's see what we got next. Oh, this was the car ramming, unfortunately, that you brought up earlier. At the Liverpool parade in England, almost 50 people, including 4 children, were injured on Monday with a driver plowing into a crowd. And this was after it was celebrating Liverpool FC's Premier League title. So you said it was the car and Mars, and so
well, okay. So Saturn. So this is a Saturn and Aries story. Saturn, Neptune, and Aries. It's like people are willing to become vigilantes, like someone who's willing to kill people. Saturn rules death with violence. Aries, because of their belief systems. Neptune, they tell themselves that this is okay because of whatever they believe. And Mercury is in Gemini. Here's the car. And this is the moon Uranus. So when the moon is in Taurus, especially the next 2 times before it switches into Uranus switches into Gemini, we're going to see big stories that impact lots of people, whether it's a power outage or like an earthquake or something like this. There's the energy of a lot of people experiencing some kind of upheaval when the moon meets Uranus. And when it's opposite or squaring, there's can be stories. But when it meets Uranus, it's going to be the most intense on those days. And I need to look them up so I can tell people just to be aware. I mean, what are the chances it's going to impact you? But maybe you decide, I'm not going to have my party then. I'm going to wait for the next week. Now, it can be people are really excited and having fun, but it can also be people are experiencing upheaval. Now, it can be hot sex on a platter. So that's what I recommend for the moon Uranus with your partner or whatever. Or you do you. If you want to kiss all your backup dancers, that's your prerogative. Yeah.
Noted. Noted. Okay. Everybody circle that in red on your calendars. I love that. Okay. Let's see. We got a few more we got to get through. This is the orb that has been developed that apparently you stand in front of, it reads your iris, and it identifies that it's you. And so it's kind of like your fingerprint, but through your eyeball. So just another example of how technology and AI is going to just take over the world.
And I said on the podcast, with the new moon in Gemini, we could maybe expect some kind of new app, because Mercury, which rules Gemini, is trine Pluto and Aquarius. So I was thinking like and something that we don't even have a concept of, because there's all this innovation happening. And this is absolutely perfect. Saturn, I feel like this is a Saturn and Aries and Neptune and Aries story, because Aries rules the head, including the eyes. And they were talking about in the story, like, you have no idea who you're talking to because of all the advances in AI. So you let this thing scan your biometric data. It sucks it out, South Node in Virgo. It sucks out your health information, and you get a number that identifies you precisely. Virgo is precise. It's systematic. It's orderly. And then that gives you that number. Now, what they don't tell you is what else they know from your eye. Whether your habits. Are you a drinker or a smoker or this or that? Are you? I mean, I don't know if it does it today, but it's going to do it some way. They'll maybe even know what you had for lunch 10 minutes ago when they scan your eye. So just be aware. And they were talking about they're starting this in like South American countries where people have very little resources. So giving them $50, they're willing to get their eye scanned so that they can have some money. But we have no idea. This is so Big Brother, Mark of the Beast, all the things under his eye, like The Handmaid's Tale, Gilead. They may know if you're pregnant.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I could see this.
I don't know if they do. I'm just, it might not, but they might.
It makes me think about, what I've been predicting about a digital currency and how money is going to shift, and the dollar is no longer in that form anymore. And so I could see them being like, yeah, if you want access to all of your digital money in your new digital wallet, we need to connect it to that through something that only you have. Oh, it's your eyeball. Step right up.
Yeah. And then there are these stories about people, especially with crypto, people being kidnapped. I've seen like 3 in the last week or so, like these crypto billionaires, because it's untraceable. And so they can kidnap you. And some guy held the guy for like 2 weeks in New York. He was from Italy, but he got away. Saturn at the last degree of Pisces, but he was going to be killed. He like escaped during his death day. Yeah. And the guy was threatening to cut off stuff and all kinds of stuff, but you can see someone. Never mind. Let me just not go there. I have Mercury trine Pluto, and it's today, and I'm trying not to be. I can go from you have a headache to okay, like I get a headache, and I'm like, oh God, I hope it's not brain cancer.
Oh my
I
gosh.
can catastrophize. So let me not catastrophize about the eyeballs.
Okay. Well, let's move on to Southwest, because tomorrow they start charging for the $35 checked bag. And if you're taking a second bag, it's $45.
I just flew my last time on Southwest with my bag free yesterday. And there's a new moon in Gemini. What did I say? Gemini rules. Transportation is one of the topics. Did I say transportation? If I didn't, it's transportation, early education, the hands. One of my things, I think, let me know what you think of this. I think there are going to be limitations at some point, maybe sooner than we know, about firearms. Are they going to make a new rule where your social media is looked at before you can get a license?
I could see some places doing it. I think some states in the U.S. will be more open in terms of not having as many stipulations. I think others will go in the opposite direction, which goes back to what I've been talking about with like where you live is going to matter more than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I could see that shifting. Yeah, interesting about the hands and the guns. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, Gemini rules the lungs, the hands, the arms, and the shoulders in the health astrology.
Interesting. Oh, dang, Southwest. It'd be interesting to see what ends up happening with
Things
them and
that are
their
two of.
earnings
We have
reports
two
in the
of.
quarters to come.
Yeah, Pisces.
Gemini, yeah. Tesla's monthly sales in Europe plunged by half. So I know that, and his energy has really stepped back from the White House administration. I haven't been feeling him as much in terms of Elon, but it does seem like I've seen some of these headlines in other parts of the world too about him and Teslas and things like that. So, what do you think the shakeup is?
Well, I'm not a fan of Elon. Let me just get it out there. He was shooting off Nazi salutes, which Europe doesn't play that. No, they know the dangers of what happened before. And he came in, the new moon in Aquarius was conjunct Icarus, which is an asteroid. And now this new moon is conjunct Icarus as well. So I said on my podcast that we may, or Icarus was active at the Aquarius new moon. And that's when he started acting like a maniac. The chain, like he was flicking. I mean, people have had it with him. I mean, he gleefully fired hundreds of thousands of people and then made it so that all of his businesses like took away all the people who were overseeing. Now in LA last week, there was some sonic boom that like people had where they didn't know if the world was ending or there was an earthquake or something. No notice. In Florida, there was that thing that fell into the sea, and then he messed up the Wisconsin election by trying to get someone hired. People have had it with him, and so a lot of people are rejecting him, and we can see it in his chart because the March 14th lunar eclipse was closely conjunct his Pluto in his third house. And so he got a humbling and a humiliation by losing that election, and it came from his mouth and him spouting off all these things, and delighting in causing people hardship. Now I know some people love him, so if you love him, that's your prerogative. But I am not a fan.
Interesting.
I think, and he said empathy is a defect or something like that. Which, yeah, you know who didn't have any empathy? Not the Nazis. Yeah.
All right,
I don't like that.
Let's keep it moving.
Yeah, keep it moving before somebody gets mad.
This is in your state.
You know what he didn't do? He didn't give people their money. Who he told them, you come register, I'll give you $1 million in this lottery to do. And he's not giving people their money. So anyway, okay, mob damages. This is Saturn in Aries. Like Saturn is in fall in Aries, and Saturn rules the authority. And so the authority is weakened, or people don't respect the authority, and they think they can just wild out doing whatever they want. Mercury rules transportation, and this Mercury went into Gemini. We had the moon Uranus yesterday. People at a Memorial Day party started going ham and just wrecking stuff. We'll see more of this, and it's really, this is like the vigilanteism. people just acting wild and doing what they want because they don't feel like they'll have any consequences because the authority is weak or absent or ineffective. So this is very concerning. I mean, it's horrendous what they've done. And
Yeah, because Saturn in Aries is what, 2.5 years? So that's a long time for people to feel like they don't have to obey the law.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's bad.
I think we got one more in here. This one you dug out of the the
This
internet today. Brigitte Macron,
oh,
apparently they had a moment on an airplane where I guess she like pushed him in the face or something. I haven't seen the video
you
or
have to
anything.
see the video. I think this is a really important story, and this is a Saturn and Aries story, because what I just said about the leader being ineffective or weak or whatnot. So what happened? He was getting off a plane, and his wife took her hand and like shoved it in his face. And they're trying to say it was horsing around. Nobody was horsing around. They started walking down the steps, and he tried to give her his arm, and she wouldn't take it. They were having a fat fight. Now, he has Mars in his 7th house of the partner. So I don't know how handsy she is, but we're talking about how she was his teacher when he was a child in early education. Mercury and Gemini, conjunct Uranus, like it was in conjunct Uranus in Taurus, this shocking event that moved into Gemini, and this mess all happened. I think it happened. But anyway, we're talking about how their relationship, we're seeing spousal violence in a relationship. Venus in Aries, Venus rules relationships, Aries conflict. Now, did she hurt him? No, but it's like shoving you in the face. That's Aries rules the head with this, like this, it's literally Saturn. She's Saturn and Aries him. This was a literal. So when you see the video, think about Saturn and Aries. She took her hand and pushed him in the face. And so he's been emasculated. So how does this impact him as a leader of a country? Who are people? He's going to receive more disrespect. Yeah. From misogynistic people,
Yeah, I don't think that story between the two of them is over. Not
No,
even
she's
close.
25 years older than him. Was his teacher?
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
lawlessness is out in the open and over the top. Yes, Annette. Thank you. Thank you. This is a Kendra Scott ring. I love her stuff.
Oh, I love Kendra Scott. Yeah, great pieces.
Yeah, he did not like it. And it was it's not a good example. We're just seeing all these bad examples of leaders that is a Saturn and Aries kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I would love for you to shuffle your...
Oh, Ramona wants some good news. Some good news, Ramona. You are alive and free on this earth today. You have all kinds of tools and community to help you anytime. Do you have food in your fridge? That's good news. What do you have positive in your life? Now, there are some advances.
Yes, we can always find the silver lining.
Yeah, there's some things like advances that are really positive. Like there's medicines and all sorts of things, or maybe there's some new food products you think are great. I don't know. Maybe you'll realize you didn't need what you thought you needed, and life becomes more and more pleasurable. Oh, should I pull cards?
Yeah, pull from your prediction deck. Yeah, I mean, I think it was Jackie that was saying in the comments. The good news is that that things are changing. I think we're alive and we're witnessing, this massive breakdown and shift. So we're here to witness that. I think.
Yeah. The breakdown comes before the good news, the new stuff.
Yep. Yeah, and then if we have a show where it's all good news, you guys better tune in, because most people don't want to hear the good news. They want to hear the bad news.
And is it good or bad? Are we just witnessing what is happening? And it's the stuff that gets attention, that has an impact on people. Like the fact that the sun is shining today, that's great. But are we going to talk about that for an hour? But I get Ramona's point. I'm trying
maybe one day. Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the foreign students leaving will bring good news to American students who can now get into the college of their choice. Every sad story, someone's happy about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What should we? I pull 3 cards about more news this week, or
yeah. Let's ask what big headlines are around the corner. Like, what kind of headlines are we going to be witness to coming up soon?
Okay. What are the headlines that are grab our attention between now and the full moon? Do you think?
Sure. Yeah. What is that? 2 weeks?
Let's do it quick. Let's get something coming soon, within a week or so, but definitely by the full moon. Let's hope. Yeah. Okay. I'm not showing this first card. I think it might be now. This is so interesting. Do you want to see it? It's not a positive card.
Yeah. Show it. We're ready.
Now, it's society collapse, and we're talking about this with people like rampaging on trains, what's going on in Gaza. I mean, we know that's a society collapse, the war in Ukraine and all that. But the middle card is a good outcome. So this is the dissolution. And I feel this. We're going through this tough time, but on the other side, there's some positive things that are coming in. And then fake news. Well, there's always fake news. Hopefully society collapsing is fake news. Society collapsing. So society's not going to collapse completely. I mean, it's not. We're going to have a good outcome. But it's the dissolution. Ooh, citing disclosure. Is there going to be more about a UFO? So notice, if you see these 3 cards, let me know if there's a story that comes in. But remember, the good outcome. Yeah. Staying present is your present circumstances a good outcome. If you are being too anxious about the future, you're probably telling yourself fake news.
Oh, yeah.
Pay attention to what you see and hear. Mm-hmm. But with this really looks like we're going to get something. Maybe there's something about something about the UFO.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that crossed my mind too.
Yeah. So don't get too worked up about the first card.
Yeah, we're gonna get through this for sure.
Hydrate. Yes. Okay, Ramona, you can take the comical. Good. And hydrate. Yes. Drinking water is so important.
Absolutely. Before we let you go, Celeste, I know your website's astrologybyceleste.com. On socials, it's at astrologybyceleste. Is there anything else you want to share before we close out your wisdom from today?
Oh, just thank you so much for having me. It's always such a pleasure to talk with you and your community and get your wisdom. And yeah, it was just wonderful. So thank you. And thank you for the great comments.
Yep, absolutely. Celeste is one of the only people I know that does chart rectification. So if you don't have your birth time and you want to go through that process, it is a process. But Celeste is one of the only people I know that does it. So if you've been wanting to get your astrology chart read and go deeper into the learning of it, she can help you with that. So you'd want to go over to her website, reach out to her, and you can connect. But she teaches all kinds of classes, like she said at the top of the show, and she does sessions and everything else. So I think astrology is one of the best ways we can look at the energy around us and what we're headed into, so it can help prepare us in a lot of different ways. So I appreciate your time and talent.
Thank you. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
In October 15th through 19th, I'm teaching predictive astrology on a 3-day intensive in Park City, Utah with the Organization of Professional Astrology. I don't know if I can drop it in the chat, but you can go to my website or email me. If you want rectification, email me at Celeste@Astrology by Celeste, and I'll tell you about what dates you need to collect so that we can back calculate your birth time, which will give you your ascendant. And you need to know what day you were born. Some people don't.
Wow. Yeah, October, predictive astrology in Utah. I bet that's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be amazing. We went there last year. I taught my Moon Mastery. It's a beautiful property, beautiful place, wonderful people, spiritual get together. You need, for me, you can go to someone else if you want. There are other things you can do, but you need to know like the basics of how to read a natal chart, because we're going right into prediction, transits, and secondary progressions and things like that. Although we'll talk a little bit about the natal chart. October 15th
very cool.
through 19th. And
yeah,
if you want to go, the pricing goes up June 10th.
Okay.
I can only do 8 people, so it's like a container. Yeah, Rick Levine's going to be there, Rachel Lang, Lynn Bell. I'm so honored to be in their presence. Kay Taylor. There's so many great. Louise Eddington. So I can't name them all. So many great astrologers doing different things.
Yeah. And if you go on, and if they go on your website, astrologybyceleste.com, they can add themselves to your email list.
Yes, please do.
About things that you're doing.
Yeah, and then you'll get a setting intentions with the moon guide that helps you work with the moon cycles. This is one of the most powerful ways to manifest and be aware of what's going on in your life. And it's a free guide. And then I'll put you on my mailing list.
Yay! That way they don't miss any updates.
You won't miss a thing.
We'll do some kind of collaboration here in the near future after I get myself moved and stuff.
Yes, let me know, and then I'll have you on my Instagram.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to come back.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready.
All right, beautiful. Celeste Brooks, thanks for coming on. We'll see you next time.
Okay, can I just sit and watch?
Yeah, sure.
You can put me in the back if you want.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to bring a couple things up on the screen. Okay, and then we're going to do our jar giveaway. Just a final reminder that tomorrow night is the live dream interpretation class. So I'm looking forward to seeing a bunch of people in that class. I think we're up to about 160 people that enrolled. So we're going to have a good time there. So you can find that at spiritandsparks.com under classes. You get access to the live Zoom tomorrow night, and you also get the replay. And so that will be fun. Reminder that now Sacred Signals is available as an annual membership, which gets you about 2 months for free compared to the monthly price. And you get to attend a quarterly masterclass with me that's totally free. It's included. And the June, I'm teaching it late June. I'm going to do a masterclass, Unleash Your Magic, where I'm going to blend meditation, guided high frequency meditation with music and journaling prompts. And we're going to have a really good time together. And so if you're an annual member, you get invited to that. And that's also on my website, spiritandsparks.com. Click on Sacred Signals, and a special thank you to all of my Sacred Signal members that are here and watching and participating in today's live stream. I really appreciate all of you. And yeah, the gift over on my website is the Access Your Psychic Power quiz. You can go and take that over at spiritandsparks.com. That also gets you on my email list. You get all of my alerts, all the things that are going on, including the weekly tarot, weekly astrology, all that good stuff. Okay, I think I went through all of my announcements. Oh, thanks, Vanessa. That's awesome. I'm planning to join Sacred Signals as a birthday present to myself. I would do the annual if you can do that. The annual is $144 for the entire year. The master classes alone are worth $497, so it's quite a deal going on right now. So looking forward to having you in that group. And our Discord community is really beautiful, and I really appreciate everybody in there having great conversations and asking good questions and helping with answers. We really, really have a beautiful community. So, okay, we're going to pull the winner for the 12-month personalized tarot report. I am going to pop my email address in the chat here. Whoever the winner is, you have until 11:59 p.m. Pacific time today, May 27th, to email me and claim your prize. Just tell me in the email that you're the winner. So the email address is going there in the live chat right now. Oh, thanks, Erica. Appreciate it. Okay. Oh, and there's my bauble. I told you one of these days I'm going to win the dang drawing. Okay, so the winner is, drum roll, as my mom shakes her head and thinks I'm crazy in the background. It is Pamela Huck. Pamela Huck, you are today's lucky winner. Pamela Huck, don't forget to email me by 11:59 p.m. Pacific time tonight, May 27th, and claim your, oh, there's my mom, right there. To claim your, and she's really here. Yeah, there she is. Hi. And the cat's down here on the floor. It's a family affair today. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Share the video with a friend or two if you enjoyed it, which I hope you did. Be back next Tuesday for another live stream talking about astrology predictions and all that stuff. And don't forget to check out Celeste at astrologybyceleste.com and on the social media channels. She does a lot of content. So if you're into astrology, I think you'll really enjoy it. So go follow her. And we'll see everybody next time. Bye.